So this lecture series comes as an introduction for to computer networks. The fundamentals are revealed here, and in this series introduction for we intend to cover delays and losses in packet switched networks, queuing delay, okay, especially about we will discuss specially about queuing delay, and we will also discuss about protocol layers, how exactly the protocols doing various functions in a internet, okay, collectively are placed in the form of layers, okay. And there are four types of delays. Delays are caused primarily due to store and forward concept of store and forward way of the packets of the packets through nodes, okay. And this is the reason why the delays are caused, okay. There are four kinds of delays, as you might see in this slide: processing delay, queuing delay, transmission delay, and propagation delay. I will go one by one. In order to understand all the four kinds of delays, we have to take an example, nice example of caravan of cars. Okay, the cars moving. Let us say a politician is going, maybe chief minister in the front, and following him will be different cars of different personalities and different officials and police, etc., etc. Okay, let us say there are two tall booths. Okay, between tall booths there is 100 kilometers of distance. Like this, the highway continues with several talls and several kilometers of distances between talls. Okay, now talls can be equated to nodes, that is routers. Okay, the packets will flow within the core of the internet. Therefore, these tall booths can be regarded as examples of nodes. Okay, it's an analogy, it's only a comparison. Okay, here cars can be equivalent to packets. Okay, so the first car will come. Okay, it has to stand before the tall booth, and there it will be inspected. A photograph will be taken, its number plate will be read, and flash tag will be seen. Okay, and the money will be deducted, and the car will be let to go. When car is let to go, it will slowly enter into the main road. Okay, and before when this happens, the other cars will be waiting in the queue. Okay, and between when the car plunges out of this tall booth, and between tall booth to tall booth there is a great distance, and how when it will reach the other tall booth depends upon what speed it is going. What speed it is going depends upon the kind of road. Okay, so now we will equate all these things into our computer network. Here cars are, I told you earlier, the cars can be taken as the packets, the road can be taken as the channel, tall booths can be taken as routers. Okay, so in the similar way things will happen over here. Processing delay. So when a packet enters into a router, okay, the packet's header will be verified, what exactly content, the control information will be verified, and bit level errors, the happening of the bit level errors, checking of the bit level errors will take place. Okay, and the bit level errors might have happened during the journey of the packet, therefore it will be, okay, checked, and this will take consume some amount of time. In high speed routers, this is to the tune of few microseconds. Okay, microseconds means 10 to the power of minus 6 seconds. It is as if 1 second is divided by 10 to the power of 6. Okay, this is microsecond. It is no time at all, but anyway, for a speedy router, queuing delay. Okay, when the packets stand, okay, queues will form because every packet is to be pumped into the outbound link, the next link. Okay, at the port of a router, at the, that is the nodal point, at the nodal point. Okay, this transmission of the packet is little slow when compared to arrival speed of the packets. Okay, delay happens when packets waits to be transmitted into the link. Okay, the delay depends upon the position of the packet in the queue. If the packet is in the front of the queue, it takes no time at all. If the packet is at the end of the queue, it will take huge amount of time. If the packet is in between the front and the end, it will take a variable amount of time. Okay, this time also depends upon if a queue arrives, okay, for a particular instance near the node, and if there is no queue formed over there, the first packet will be just moving. Okay, and if the speed of the queue, if the speed of the packets is low, okay, anyway there will be a lot of waiting period. Okay, the packets added to this, the packets will be of varying lengths, because different packets from different directions will be coming, from different senders will be coming. Okay, they will be of different length, therefore the queuing delay will vary with the length of the packet also. The arriving packet may arrive with a huge traffic along with it, or it may arrive without any traffic also. Okay, therefore the queuing delay is assumed to be very variable delay. Okay, there are various factors which will hinder us to calculate exact queuing delay. Okay, queuing delay will be in terms of okay, milliseconds, sometimes it will be in terms of microseconds. If it is millisecond, it is 10 to the power of minus 3. Then transmission delay. Okay, transmission delay should be understood first. Okay, I will go through this. Okay, so this is the router and this is the port of the router, output port of the router, and a packet will be pumped into this. Okay, this is the first bit and this is the last bit. Okay, the time elapsed between the arrival of the first bit to the last bit into this channel is called as transmission delay. I repeat, the time that happens between the entry of the first bit of the packet and the entry of the last bit of the packet into the outbound link is called as transmission delay. So transmission delay is a function of length of the packet, okay, in bits, and R is the capacity of this particular transmitter. Okay, the data rate, it is also called as data rate, it's also called as transmission speed. Okay, the transmission speed is expressed in bits per second and length of the packet is expressed in bits, therefore it is length divided by R. Okay, so this is the expression that you should remember. Okay, transmission delay is measured always in seconds, length of the packet is measured in bits, and R, the data rate or transmission rate of the transmitter, is measured in bits per second. Okay, and the transmission delay will be to the tune of milliseconds or microseconds. Okay, and next one is propagation delay. Okay, propagation delay. Okay, I will shift. So delay uh, propagation delay is due to okay, the time taken to travel between the booths, I told you earlier. Okay, let us see how it happens. Okay, this is the distance between two nodes, that will be in terms of kilometers, of course, and this is the propagation speed, the signal speed, the speed at which signal will move, okay, carrying the information. Okay, this will be to the tune of speed of light. It will be 3 into 10 to the power of minus 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Okay, anyway, this speed is very huge, the distance is also very huge. Okay, it is distance divided by propagation speed. Okay, that is given by, this is equivalent to speed of car there in that particular example. Okay, so propagation speed is given by the transmission delay is L by R, propagation delay is given by S divided by P. S is the distance between the nodes in meters and P is the propagation speed of the signal. Okay, problem. We will look at a problem and then we will really understand as to how the delays are to be calculated. Okay, the distance between two systems is 2000 kilometers. The propagation speed of the signal is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Okay, the file is of length 300 MB megabytes. Okay, capital B means bytes, small b means bits. Okay, the data rate of the channel is 200 MB per second. Okay, this is R. The average queuing delay is 2 milliseconds and the processing delay is 1 millisecond. Find the total end-to-end delay. The questions will be like this. Okay, you calculate each and every delay one by one without making any mistakes. So processing delay is equal to 1 milliseconds, that is equal to 1 into 10 to the power of 3 minus 3 seconds. It is as if 1 is divided by 1000, therefore it is 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3 seconds. You have to express this delay in seconds. Queuing delay is 2 milliseconds, it is 2 into 10 to the power of minus 3 seconds. Transmission delay is L by R. Here the length of the file is 300 MB, so 300 you make it into bits. Okay, it is in bytes, therefore make it into bits, multiply by 8, so it will give you 300 into 8. You convert megabits into, this will become megabits. Okay, if you multiply by 10 to the power of 6, it becomes just bits. Okay, 1 megabits is 10 to the power of bits. Okay, 1 gigabit is 10 to the power of 9 bits. Okay, our transmission speed is 200 MB per second. Okay, it is bits, therefore there is no need to convert. Mega is to be converted into ordinary, okay, just bits. Okay, you multiply by 10 to the power of 6. So 200 into 10 to the power of 6 bits per second. So transmission speed is available to us, length of the file is available to us in bits, okay, and queuing delay is there, processing delay is directly given, okay, and therefore transmission delay is L divided by R. L is 300 into 8 into 10 to the power of 6 bits divided by 200 into 10 to the power of 6 bits per second. Bits will cancel, second will go up, and you will get 12 seconds. So propagation delay is distance divided by propagation speed. Distance is 200 kilometers, therefore 200 into 1000. Okay, 2000 kilometers, actually there is a mistake over here. 2000 into 1000, okay, it is 2000. One more zero should have been added over here. Okay, it is 2 followed by 6, okay, 0. See, it's correctly printed over here. So 2, okay, this is the length, this is the distance in meters, and this is the propagation speed that is directly given, that is also meter per second. What you get is 0.0067 seconds. Okay, you add everything, you will get total end-to-end delay. Okay, queuing delay is 0.001 converted. Okay, it was 1 into 10 to the power of minus 3. When it is expressed like this, it will be in fractions, it will be like this. So 0.002, this is queuing delay, average queuing delay, and this is 12, just now we calculated in the previous slide. It is transmission delay, and this is propagation delay. If you add together, total end-to-end delay is 12.0097 seconds. Okay, layering of protocols. Okay, this is a concept by itself. You know, every day in and day out, computer networks is growing with the advent of technology. So many gadgets are getting added. Okay, so many gadgets, so many connectable things are getting added, and they come with different architecture. They come from different vendors. Therefore there is a lot of complexity, involved. Okay, therefore the entire internet network, okay, should work in a seamless fashion without any flaws. Therefore several protocols have been devised, and depending on the nature of the protocol, okay, they will take the control of the entire internet at various levels. Therefore in a hypothetical, in a some kind of an imaginative way, the protocols are layered. Okay, okay, it is broken into 5 layers: application layer, transportation layer, internet layer, network layer, or network interface layer, or physical layer. Okay, there are 5 layers, and this is the layering concept in present day internet, and it is called as TCP IP SUT. Okay, it is purely conceptual, I told you earlier. That means if you cut open your CPU, you will never find layers like this. That is a very important thing to be understood. Okay, it's only placing the protocols at various levels. Each and every protocol is delegated with different functions, okay, appropriate to that particular protocol. Okay, so we will go by layer, okay, we will see what exactly the functionality is committed by each and every layer. Okay, application layer run distributed applications, okay, and they basically generate messages. The message could be a PDF file, message could be a Word file, message could be some kind of a signal, message could be a song, message could be audio, message could be video, message could be audio video. Okay, any message, okay, anything and everything that is generated in application layer is called as a message. Okay, there are protocols which will define the syntax and semantics. Syntax means how exactly the messages are to be coded, and semantics means the meaning part of it. What does it mean? Okay, there are protocols which will govern this syntax and semantics of the messages. Okay, both sender and receiver run the processes here. Okay, the sending process should generate the message. The receiving process should understand this message, and accordingly actions are to be taken, okay, at the receiving end. Okay, it will be available, application layer is available only at the end systems. Okay, this is a very important point to be noted, and some predominant protocols are HTTP, SMTP, HTTP web applications, SMTP email applications, FTP remote file movement or file transfer, DNS domain name service, Telnet, okay, internet telephony, etc. These are all the application layer protocols. Then comes transportation layer. Okay, every layer will serve itself and every layer will receive the services of the layer beneath. Therefore every layer is also called as a service model. Okay, I repeat, every layer is called as a service model because it will serve itself and it will also take the help of the layer which is beneath. Okay, transportation layer gives process to process connection. Okay, it connects two application layers, of course. Okay, there is no direct connectionality, it's once again a hypothetical virtual connection. It will give a connection to process to process. This layer is also present only in the end systems. It provides connection oriented or connectionless services. Okay, it will service the processes. Okay, the processes which may be running by SMTP, which may be running by FTP. Okay, it will serve them. Okay, transportation layer will serve them. Connection establishment it does, error detection and correction. Okay, sending of the messages in order, and these are all reliability concepts. Okay, it governs, transportation layer governs the reliability aspects of the messages. Okay, it segments the messages, it places the control information in the beginning of the segment. Okay, segment is generated in the transportation layer. It does flow control and it also does congestion control. Okay, flow control, whenever a node, whenever a router goes out of receiving the data. Okay, if the sending rate is much faster than the receiving rate, then overflow happens, and when this situation arises, transportation layer protocol will control this. Okay, congestion control, whenever the entire network comes to a grinding halt. Okay, the transportation layer really controls this. This is a global phenomenon and this is a local phenomenon, right? Network layer, it provides end-to-end connection. Okay, end system to end system connection is provided by network layer. It generates IP addresses. Okay, it is here exactly the destination's geographical address is written. Okay, destinations and the source geographical address is written, and this address, is called as IP address, internet protocol address. Okay, it makes datagrams, of course. Okay, putting the control information. Okay, segment is received by the network layer from the transportation layer, and control information corresponding to network layer is placed. Okay, and this is network layer control information. It does forwarding and routing. Forwarding happens within a router. Routing is deciding about the path of movement. Okay, routing is global. Once again, forwarding is local. Forwarding is local to every router, while routing is determining the path beforehand. Okay, on what path the packets have to move. This is decided by network layer. Okay, it runs routing protocols. Okay, network layer runs routing protocols, and two predominant protocols are IPv4, the earlier protocol IPv6. Next comes data link layer. Data link layer provides node-to-node connection. It manages the LAN. Okay, controls the multiple access to the channel. This is a very important control it does. Okay, media access control. Media access control. When multiple packets, multiple frames try to go to a single channel, want to pass through the single channel, control, otherwise they will collide. Therefore, data link layer protocol will control that. Okay, link management between node to node, there is a link. That link management is done by the data link layer. Okay, it manages the adapter card. It provides the physical address to every node and every system. Okay, this is also called as MAC address allocation. Okay, you will understand this clearly when we discuss about data link layer. For time being, you just remember these are all the functionalities. It does error detection and correction. Okay, you should remember error detection and correction is done by transportation layer also, and here also. Okay, it creates a frame. It puts the control information in both header and error check bits in the trailer. Okay, it is only in the data link layer the control information is placed both in the front and also at the trailer. Okay, and physical layer does, okay, physical layer actually controls the physical components associated with the internet. Okay, it does bit level control of messages. Okay, every message will be seen in the bit form. Okay, some kind of a bit flow orientation, right, is seen in the physical layer. It encodes the bits into analog signals and decodes again into bits. Okay, encoding and decoding is done by physical layer. The protocol, kind of protocol that is available in the physical layer depends upon the kind of the channel. It may be guided channel or it may be unguided channel. It may be a twisted wire, it may be coaxial cable, it may be fiber optic cable, it may be air that is surrounding us. Okay, accordingly the protocol changes. Okay, this is picturized over here. This is the sender and this is the receiver. You have seen sender and receiver. Okay, application layer, the message, the data will be put, and data will be segmented, several segments. This is one segment. This is header information of the transportation layer, and here is the data. This is network layer. Okay, network layer header and the data. Okay, network layer header and network layer trailer and data. Okay, it is moving like this, therefore it is, this is the front and this is the end, and here entire data, whether it is header or trailer, everything will be seen in the bit format. Bit matters as far as physical layer is concerned. So here it will descend to the wire. Okay, this is a physical item, okay, which will be controlled by the physical layer. Here the bits will enter, okay, in the form of waves or in the form of bits, okay, bit pulses, and it will move like this, okay, and it will come to this end, and once again it will be retransformed. So bits will be understood by the physical layer, okay, and this is converted into the frame. Frame will go over here. Frame will be understood by the data link layer. Once again, this portion will be cut over here, and only data and network layer header will move to this, and network header layer will be cut over here. Only data and the transportation layer header will move over here, and then data will go over here, and finally the application layer over here will receive the pure data. Okay, so this is the flow, okay, from top down approach, okay, from application layer to the physical layer, and this is how things will move, and therefore protocols are layered. The advantages are, entire complex work of the internet is delegated, will be controlled by different protocols. It becomes very easy to control. Okay, it will be very easy. Okay, it will be very easy to handle. Okay, such a complex phenomenon, such a complex process. Okay, are a must. Protocols are a must. Okay, nevertheless, because there are different vendors, different kinds of gadgets are being attached to the internet. Okay, they come from different vendors, they have different architecture. Therefore these protocols will make some kind of a unification. Okay, everything has to follow same kind of procedure, set of procedures. The disadvantage is every layer is dependent on the other layer, because there is it's a service oriented model. That is number one. Number two, it's a very complex process to design. Number two. Number three, there are some duplications like error control. Okay, error control is done in transportation layer as well as data link layer. There is a kind of duplication. Okay, these are all the only three disadvantages. Advantages are many when compared to disadvantages. There are some questions. Okay, I have left it to you. Please answer.